When you think about wheat and bread, what colors actually come to your mind? Most likely it's just white or brown, kind of boring. What if I was to tell you that wheat actually comes in a variety of different colors, including blue and black and white and red and purple. Many of these varieties have actually been pretty much lost or just shoved aside for just what we're typically used to seeing with wheat. But farmers and scientists are bringing some of these ancient strands back, and we really need to talk about this. Hey y'all, welcome back to Grains and Grit. My name is Felicia, and on this channel, I teach you all about real whole grains, all from a biblical perspective. I teach you how am I to be milling your own grains, how to be making your own bread at home with those freshly milled grains, and educating you about grains, because what has been known for thousands of years has pretty much been lost. All right, so I set a hint to those of you who have been following me on this channel for the past several months, and that was the color purple wheat. And that is something that has really hit the market lately, and I'm really excited about that. I have done videos about, and that is the new purple wheat from 4 Generations Organic Farms, and it is called Heartwell. It is a beautiful, incredibly looking wheat berry and wheat that has come out and has a purplish, brownish type brand to it that gives it its super unique color. The bread turns out amazing. It's amazing flavor. And I want to dive deeper into this concept because I think many people might see this as yet again some sort of Franken wheat. You know, we've messed with things again, but actually what has happened is more of an ancient strand and variety has been brought back. Because here's the thing, y'all, same thing with corn and other grains is that we are the weird ones. Modern times are the weird ones that we have just gone down to maybe 1 or 2 varieties of grains, and that's all that we know. But our ancestors knew so much more. And I think that really speaks to a creative designer, a creator, a creative God. I mean, think about creation that God created and all the variety of the plants and the animals, the human beings that we have. Just God loves beauty and variety and to be creative. And yeah, originally he gave us multiple colors of not only, you know, our fruits and vegetables, but also our grains. So just like nowadays, people only are really familiar with like white or mostly yellow corn. Same thing with our wheat. First of all, just they've messed with the flour. So most people are even only familiar that flour looks white because of white flour. And then those of us who go over to home milling, we now realize like, whoa, there's a huge variety in the wheat family. We have our ancient grains, we have our heritage grains, we have our modern grains, but they're still pretty much in those same type of colors, more in the brown tan type family. So, you know, those who are familiar with soft white wheat berries, those are a bit whiter in color. And then your hard red wheat's kind of a bit more brownish red in color. And that's about it. And like a little bit of shading in between. So that is the amazing thing about Heartwell, is that it's bringing a color back, because yes, y'all, there's actually blue wheat and black wheat, and now purple, purple wheat. And the beauty of these wheats, what makes them so special and unique is that different color, the purple, the black, the blue, that actually signifies that these are higher in antioxidants than your typical wheat. So they are Heartwell is known to be 3 times more with antioxidants than your typical hard red wheat. What antioxidants are, in case you don't know, is generally they're signaled to us in nature by the colorful, like the blues and the purples, those type of things in nature. So think of your blueberries are very high in antioxidants. And antioxidants are so important for our body because it helps get rid of free radicals. It helps heals us internally. So you probably are familiar like how, oh, it's healthy because it has antioxidants in it. Maybe people don't know what that does, but antioxidants is very important for us to have, and we typically only are familiar with getting them in maybe like our fruits and vegetables. But now we can get them in higher amounts than typical wheat. Your blueberries are still going to be much higher in antioxidants than, say, this Heartwell, but this Heartwell wheat is going to be 3 times as more antioxidants than a typical hardwood wheat. So I want to give you a little story about how Heartwell came together. I've actually been researching this more and just diving in deep because the story is amazing of how Heartwell came to be. So in case you don't know, 4 Generations Organic Farms is a pretty cool farm to be, because they are farmers, but for years they've actually been working closely with Oklahoma State University, and in doing so, they are kind of the farm where whenever they have wheat varieties and things like that. They are organic farmers that partner up with them to test and try growing these wheats, encouraging them for new wheats. They give feedback of, hey, here's what customers like, so on and so forth. So I think it's really cool that we're able to do this. Just know that none of this is genetically modified. This is not genetically modifying anything. All this is hybridization. And what OSU Regent Professor Brett Carver has done is he was very intrigued by this wheat from Romania, actually, which is more of a purple wheat. And again, we say purple wheat because it's the brand. It's actually a very small part of the wheat berry that is purple. But this is what it looks like here in the field, actually on the stalk, which is just really beautiful looking. Here's what it looks like as wheat berries. I also have some right here, but it's actually in the brand that gives it this color. And he found this wheat from Romania, and he actually brought it back. Again, this is like an ancient, older strand. Scientists have traced it all the way back to Ethiopia, which is like one of the original civilizations. You see this all the way back in the Old Testament scripture. So it actually comes from a very ancient strain. And so he found this Romania wheat, brought it back to OSU, brought it into his wheat breeding program that he does there at OSU. And when it comes to figuring out what makes good wheat, it's not just, does it grow well? Is this going to be easy for farmers to use? Is it something that is not hardy? Is it disease resistant? Is it resistant to droughts? There are many things that are considered for what makes a good wheat plant. I mean, that is why we have our modern wheats today, is they were looking for something that was more drought resistant, that could actually solve a lot of world hunger issues, because it could be grown in difficult places, and but also not needing a ton of babying, not a lot of chemicals or fertilizers or things like that. He starts this wheat breeding program with this Romania type wheat, and eventually we get it to where they cross it with the Butler's Gold wheat variety, which is my favorite hard red wheat from 4 Generations Organic Farms. I love that hard red so much, but they combined it with the Butler's Gold and then also another wheat, hard white wheat that is called Big Country. And breeding these 3 together, again, it's not an overnight thing. This took 10 years for them to do. I first heard about this a couple years ago when I actually visited 4 Generations Organic Farms, and Bob, the owner, was telling me about it. And then I totally forgot about it until Heartwell showed up on my doorstep several months ago as a sample. My husband remembered, but I did not. And so this has been a decade in the making. And so by combining these type of wheats, again, this is just hybridization, breeding wheat to wheat, wheat to wheat, wheat to wheat, and you get certain traits from these wheats. And so from this, the result of this is amazing. Not only do we have a beautiful and unique grain, I mean, you have to see it here. I mean, look at that. Would you look at that? I think you've seen that GIF. It is absolutely beautiful. It's going to look stunning on my shelf, I will say that. But not only does it look beautiful, but it's actually very functional as well. I've already done a video where I experimented with different of my recipes, swapping out to Heartwell. And one thing I noticed is not only is it a wonderful flavor, still a nutty, like you can tell it's been combined with that hard red, but it is still, it's not a difficult wheat to use when milling it yourself. So home milling, milling your wheat already can sometimes make things a little bit harder. It's actually not a difficult wheat to work with. So absolutely, I would recommend this for beginners. But also one thing I noticed is that, especially in my no-knead bread, this had a sponginess to it. Like some of my ancient grain varieties like einkorn, which makes me wonder, is this possibly somewhere in the genetics similar or related to einkorn, which of course it would be because like they're original wheats and I'm sure genetics came back there. But einkorn I have found tends to be a bit spongier of a dough, of a bread. And the dough to this was feeling this lighter, spongy type feeling that reminded me a little bit of einkorn. So easier wheat to work with. It is also a delicious wheat to work with. And it did well in your typical yeast breads, but I believe I also did like muffins and other things. So it's quite a versatile wheat. And many, many thanks to 4 Generations Organic Farms. Right now, they are, last time I checked, the only farm actually growing Heartwell. I believe you can buy it from other places. So other grain distributors are, they are selling it. However, just know that it's 4 Generations Organic Farms that is growing it. You might as well get it straight from them, straight from the farm. So all you have to do is go to grainsandgrit.com/4generations. Use this coupon code up here on the screen for 10% off your first order. Now, when this first came out, it sold out within only a few days. And then I announced it, and 4 Generations Organic Farms announced it as well. And then they were sold out. So people were asking me like, oh no, I went to buy it and they sold out. So just know that I did call the lovely Sarah, I love her so much, with 4 Generations. Another reason why you should just buy straight from the farmer is usually their customer service is really, really great. And I was able to just give her a call and she answered the phone. And I said, hey, it's Felicia with Grains and Grit. People are asking, is it coming back? And thankfully it is. They have plenty. And I told her that I was making this video, like I'm gonna make this video and I don't wanna make this video unless y'all have enough in stock. And she says they have plenty in stock. What happened is they just didn't have all of it. They sold out of what they had ready to ship, basically, is what that is. So they have plenty of Heartwell. I do recommend going with 4 Generations Organic Farms. So about them, they are the sponsor of today's video, and I just love them, and I cannot talk enough about them. They are clean wheat berries that are sent straight to my home. So this is actually the bucket that Heartwell came in, and Sarah actually packages every single one of them pretty much. And I have toured their facilities, but the beauty of this is they come, if you buy in the bucket, comes in a sealed bucket. There are oxygen absorbers in here. This is ready to go straight to my shed. No problem whatsoever. It's so easy. There's free shipping, which is awesome. They also have them in smaller quantities as well, if you're not like me, but honestly, for the price, go ahead and buy the big stuff, and it's free shipping anyway. Comes straight to your house, clean wheat berries, and they do really well. And while you're there, pick up some hard red, some hard white, because they're also my go-to hard red and hard white wheat berries. I love the fact that they are partnering up with scientists who are bringing back these ancient strains. One thing that Professor Carver stated that I loved so much is he said that I hope one day we will look at purple wheat or blue or even black wheat and they won't seem so unusual. So I love that, because I do think we need, just like we should be bringing back, the red corn, the blue corn, the yellows, the whites, the colorful creation that God has given us, especially in our grain world. Let's do that with wheat as well. So I encourage y'all to support this. So the more that we support Heartwell, the more that we love it, the more that we buy it, the more that they will grow it, and hopefully the more mainstream that it becomes, because variety is the spice of life, y'all. It truly is. And the beauty of that, of home milling, is we get so much variety. One of them is choosing Heartwell and having a purple wheat in our houses that we can mill ourselves. So for those of you who have tried Heartwell already, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite recipe is, what recipe you used. And if you want to see the video where I actually was experimenting with Heartwell wheat, that is this video up here. So you can check that out. And if you want to see my original announcement video of like the original overall information that I was given about Heartwell, that is this video here as well. I will see y'all next week, and y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.